All right, awesome. Perfect. So let's go. So anatomical terms. I'm sure most of y'all know this, but let's just see. I'm also going to try to make this as engaging as possible. So I'm going to ask for some like questions, some examples. Please participate. I want to make these as engaging as possible. Okay, let's see. All right. So first off, anatomical position is just like what this amazing, beautiful man is doing right here. It's standing straight, and then you're going to have your arms facing upwards. So sorry guys, I got my knee propped up. You're gonna have your wrists facing forward, so your palms are gonna be facing the same direction as your hands. So it's really important to remember that, because especially when referencing like the arms, people get anterior and posterior mixed up all the time, because that is the one position that is kind of forgotten, that your palms will be facing the same direction as your face. So the next slide, we'll talk about anterior, which is the front of the body right there, and posterior is the back. So that's really important, because a lot of directional terms go with that. And then also, these are really important to remember when you're palpating muscles with all these directional terms. So please remember that everything is in reference to anatomical position. Oh my goodness. Okay, so lateral and medial, pretty simple. So there's an imaginary line that runs right down the middle of your body. So medial will be going towards that midline, and lateral going away from that midline. Pretty simple. Distal and proximal is a little, what is it? Don't know. There's some gray blocks on the screen. There's some gray blocks.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It just keeps like moving in and out. Like right now, there's like one block. There's two blocking the screen. I don't know what it is.
Is it gone now?
No,
No? What
no.
about now?
I don't know what it is. You don't see anything?
No.
Oh, all right. It keeps
Where?
moving, but we could see the screen though.
Okay, you can see the
I can
screen?
see it. I can still see the screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Just let me know if it's blocking or anything. Okay, so distal and proximal can be a little confusing, but basically this becomes very important with palpations in the clinic and everything. So if you're going to palpate a muscle, you'll learn in musculoskeletal anatomy, palpating different muscles. You want to do something distally or proximally, like palpating something. So distal is just away from the origin, and proximal is towards the origin of that muscle. So say you want to palpate your rectus femoris distally, you'll start like at the top of the thigh, and you'll be going down instead of going up. So down your leg, so towards your knee, basically. So super important just to remember that this directional term is based off of the origin of the body, of the muscle. All right. Superior is towards the head, inferior away from the head. Super simple. Just remember that this is a reference to the head. Superiors can also be named as cranial, and then inferior caudal. So here's a nice little picture. The beautiful man, once again, standing in anatomical position. Okay, this picture I thought was very interesting, but it does a great job of explaining superficial and deep. So superficial is just going to be towards the surface of the body, and deep is just more inside. So the epidermis is superficial to the dermis when we're talking about the layers of the different layers of skin and everything. So have that beautiful image of this man that has no hand or no legs. And think about superficial and deep right there. All right, so this one's pretty nice. This is a really good picture I found that shows different movements of the body. And if you guys ever get to observe or become a tech yourself, you'll notice that a lot of different exercises have like flexion, extension, hip flexion, hip extension. So this is really important. I'm sure most of y'all know. Flexion extension, I'm sure all of us think of like tricep extensions, bicep curls, but really it focuses on the angle of the joint. So with flexion, you're going to, if y'all want, you can participate too, but if you do like a bicep curl, you'll see that the angle of the joint right here is going to be decreasing. So that's going to be flexion, and extension is going to be increasing the joint angle. So flexion and extension go along with the joint angles right there. So just remember that if you think about different movements. So like with the hip flexion, you're going to be decreasing that joint angle, extension, increasing that. Abduction and adduction is where a lot of people get messed up, just because I don't know who chose the spelling for this, but it can be very confusing. I know a lot of people don't like this one because you'll think, oh, it's that one, but it literally looks the same. A B and D looks exactly the same. But how I memorize it, adduction is adding together. So it's bringing everything closer to you. So like addition, adding, brings it together, brings it towards you. If you remember that one, how that one's coming in towards the midline of your body. So like if I have my arm out here and I come in, that'll be adduction. So bringing it towards you, bringing it in towards you. And then just remember that abduction is the opposite of that, bringing it away from you. So in this picture, you can see the skeleton lifting his leg up for abduction, bringing it in for adduction. Supination and pronation is really focused on the forearm. So like with the wrist and everything, I like to memorize it with soup because soup is literally my favorite food. For supination, holding a bowl of soup, you want to have your palm out. So the supination movement would be having your arm here and then twisting it up like you're holding a bowl of soup. But pronation will be the exact opposite of coming back down, just like that. And we use this a lot, like opening doorknobs and everything, like we pronate, supinate, open, close. Eversion and inversion will mainly deal with the ankle. I'm sure a lot of y'all have had ankle sprains in your life. The most common one that we face is an inversion ankle sprain. So that's when your ankle moves in toward your body. So inversion in, eversion, think of exit. So it goes away, goes out. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, same thing with just your ankle. So dorsiflexion is going to be going up, coming up. I like to think of a dolphin with a dorsal fin. Think of dorsal fin. The dorsal fin's on the part of their body, so like coming up on top of their body. So I think of it coming up. And then plantar, I think of like plants in the ground. So like smush the plants in the ground, plantar flexion. Protraction and retraction, that mainly just deals with your head movement. So protraction, you're going to be coming out, so pushing forward. I like to think of the pros like to stick their noses in people's business, you know. I like making little sentences to remember that. And retraction is just like retreat, so you come back like that. So who wants to give an example of one of these movements? Does anyone want to just show me or tell me some based off of this? Anyone?
When you invert your arm and evert your arm, like, or your shoulder.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? What about with dorsiflexion and plantar flexion? That one's a pretty common one we use day to day.
When you're driving.
Yeah, driving. So dorsiflexion, you'd have it going off the gas, plantar flexion, driving with. Yeah, so these are some of like the common day-to-day activities we use. Super familiar. In the PT clinic, you'll see it a lot. You'll see a lot of different movements and you're just like, oh, they're doing plantar flexion. Like my time as a tech, it's super interesting just to see how these movements are being incorporated into a lot of exercises. So awesome. Thank you. All right, here's a little quiz I put together. Can y'all see the questions right here? Yeah? Okay, cool. So
Yes.
someone describe the anatomical position for me. It doesn't have to be that much in depth, just like straight up.
Faces forward, palms forward.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Just remember the crucial part is this is probably the arm placement. I think a lot of people forget the arm placement because I feel like most people would stand with their arms like to their side or with their arms facing back, like their palms facing backwards. So that's pretty important to remember. The belly button is on the blank side of the body.
Interior.
Interior.
Interior. All right. The movement of blank brings limbs towards your body.
Adduction.
Adduction.
Abduction or AD?
AD.
Amazing,
Adduction.
amazing. You guys are doing so great. I'm so proud of you. The epidermis is blank to the subcutaneous layer of the skin.
Superficial.
Ah, spectacular. All right, and then the last one, decreasing the angle of a limb is also known as
Flexion.
Oh my gosh, you guys are doing so good. Look at that. Perfect, 100. All right, so here's a bone review. I try to break this up as best as possible, and I hope it kind of helps you. I'm going to also be talking about like the metacarpals, the carpals, the tarsals, and we're going to try to make some mnemonics as well. So stay tuned for that. So here's some background. Here's the opener question. How many bones are in the body?
206.
Perfect. Yes, 206. So there are 5 different classifications of bones. We have long bones, short bones, flat bones, irregular, and sesamoid bones. So long bones are going to be like very obvious. I'm sure we are all thinking of the same long bone, the femur. It's like the longest and strongest bone of our body. Its main function is to support the weight of the body. So what I did is include like descriptions of the 5 classifications, and then also like their main functions of each bone. So short bones, they're going to be length and width are kind of similar. So kind of like a cube shape. So we can think about like our carpals right here, and that's going to help with stability and movement. Some flat bones, they're going to be thin, flat surfaces. They protect the organs. The one I like to think about are the ribs. You know, those are pretty much like the standard flat bone I feel like we all think about. They protect the heart, the lungs, like super nice and simple with that. Irregular, they're complex. They protect organs and act as attachment points. So the skull is one of the most crucial bones in our body. It protects one of the most vital organs, our brain. So just think of that when it comes to that, all those irregular shapes and how the skull is made up of separate individual bones itself. And then the sesamoid bones are the smaller bones and the tendons, and they assist with weight bearing. So I think we can all think of the patella. It's kind of just randomly there on top of your knee, just kind of like floating around. So yeah, if you guys can just remember different examples of these bones, you can easily remember like what they look like, and then also what the function is of those. So those are the 5 classifications of different bones. All right, so this is the upper body. So we have our skull, the clavicle, which is also known as the collarbone, the ribs. So we have 7 true, 3 false, and 2 floating. And does anyone know what that is in reference to? Like why it's called the true, the false, and the floating?
The true is because they attach to the not the scapula, the
Sternum.
oh, my mind's going brain. Yeah, the sternum.
The sternum, yeah.
To the sternum, and then the other floating ribs, they don't connect to the sternum. And then your false ribs, they do connect, but they kind of connect to 3, I guess, in a way, with the connective tissue.
With like kind of like a cartilage. Yeah.
Cartilage.
Awesome. That's perfect. Yeah. So as you can see in this picture, you can see the ones with the green, those will be your true. The ones with kind of that lighter gray is going to be your false, and then your floating are just the last 2 at the bottom. So that's perfect. Yeah. So try to remember 7 true, 3 false, 2 floating. Simple like that. The scapula is the shoulder blade. So as you can see with this arm right here, it's going to be that kind of like oval-like bone right there. The humerus is going to be your upper bone right there. Radius, does anyone know which side of the arm it's on? The radius bone.
Side.
Yeah, the thumb side. So really crucial, y'all remember that because there are 2 bones right there. Just remember radius is going to be on your thumb side and ulna on your pinky side. I like to think of ulna, this is really weird how I think, but ulna, U is like further down the alphabet, so I feel like it's smaller. I picture like the alphabet A starting really big and then U is going to be smaller. So I think of ulna being like the pinky bone, like the small little finger. Julie, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to tell you guys, radius looks like on the thumb side, it looks like an R. So
Oh,
you know it's the radius.
Yeah, perfect. Does anyone else have any ways they remember the radius and ulna? That was a good one. I've never thought of that one before. Okay, so the carpals. This one you'll definitely need to know eventually. So there are 8 of them. There's the scaphoid, the lunate, hamate, capitate, trapezoid, triquetrum, pisiform, and trapezium. So that's going to be your wrist bones right here. For the longest time, I thought it was these bones. I kid you not. And I learned literally last year that the carpals are right here. So I'm telling y'all in case you thought it was also in your hand. So I put an example of how to remember the carpals with this one mnemonic. She looks too pretty to try to catch her. So that's going to go through all the carpal bones in your wrist when you're going to be tested on memorizing the different carpals and everything. And then the metacarpals are going to be like your finger bones up here. So here's a better picture of the different carpal bones. So as you can see, the scaphoid, one easy way to remember where your scaphoid is, if you hold out your hand like this, you're going to have like this little divot right here. that's going to be called your anatomical snuff box right here, because you can sniff stuff out of it. That's what I was told last year in musculoskeletal anatomy. But right here, right there is going to be your scaphoid. So if you just remember scaphoid right here, that's like already a good landmark. I'm going to tell y'all how I memorized these bones. It's going to sound crazy, but so I have my scaphoid in my snuff box right here. And then looking at the lunate, it kind of looks like a little moon. Do you see that like little divot right there? And then in Spanish, moon is luna. So lunate, luna, it's going to be that moon-like shaped carpal right there. The pisiform is that tiny little one by your pinky, as you can see. So I think of kind of like a pea. A pea is super small. The pisiform kind of looks like a pea. And I think how the pisiform and the triquetrum are best friends. So the pisiform is going to be on top and right on top of the triquetrum, like best friends forever. So when we go up, I like to you see the carpal that's kind of right below the middle finger, right there. I think of like a captain, and the captain loves flicking off his crewmates. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, it made sense to me, but I like saying that because it makes sense. So like the middle finger is connected to the captain. The captain uses the middle finger all the time, so the capitate. The hamate right there to the right of the capitate, I like to think of a honey ham, like Thanksgiving. It's super big. It looks like the biggest carpal of the hand, and it's going to be that one on the right on the top row. And then the trapezoid is going to be right next to the captain. I don't really have a memorization one for that, but I always know trapezium is part of your thumb. I think of a trapeze. You have to have your thumb to hang on to a trapeze. So I don't know if that's any beneficial to y'all, but that's just how I memorize. That's just how I memorize the different carpals right there. But yeah, I would recommend making a mnemonic. Like I said, the other one was she looks too pretty, try to catch her. Super easy. A lot of people make one going like clockwise, counterclockwise through it. You can memorize it by how I told you. So the capitate's associated with the middle finger, hamate, honey ham, big. It's really helpful if you kind of make sentences or different mnemonics with that. So I hope I can help y'all memorize those carpal bones right there. All right. So the spine. Does anyone know how many cervical vertebrae there are?
7?
What'd you say?
7.
7? Okay, what about thoracic?
12?
12.
Okay, and then lumbar.
That one always
5.
gets me.
That one gets you.
5.
All right, well, I got a trick for you too to memorize how many different vertebrae there are in the spine too. So here we go. Oh my goodness. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so the cervical vertebrae are going to be at the top of your neck. So like the little bunch right there. So the first little section that's pointed off right there, that's going to be your cervical vertebrae. So this is a really helpful trick I learned last year by one of my classmates. There's like a clock, like a meal time clock to memorize it. So breakfast, you eat breakfast at 7 in the morning. You eat lunch at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. And then at dinner, you eat at 5 p.m. So it's kind of like how it goes down the spine. So first, breakfast, 7 a.m. There's 7 vertebrae, 7 cervical vertebrae there. Then you eat lunch at noon, 12 p.m. There are 12 thoracic vertebrae. And then with dinner, you eat it at 5. There are 5 lumbar vertebrae. So think about the meals of the day kind of acting as a spine, starting at the head. So 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m. So that's just a nice little helpful way to memorize that. And then also just distinguishing the different types of vertebrae. The cervical ones are going to be very like small and not as wide. So at the top, you can see right there by the head, it's a little smaller, and that's just to help with the head, like articulating around, like looking around, going up and down. And then we get to the thoracic, they're a little wider, kind of a little square, but the lumbar ones are going to be your widest ones. They're going to have the widest base because they're going to be supporting most of your body weight. So just remember that it's 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m. to memorize how many different vertebrae there are in the body. So I hope that helps y'all. It helped me a lot when I was taking musculoskeletal anatomy. All right, moving to the lower body, we have the femur, which is that long bone. It is probably one of the strongest bones in our body. The pelvis, the tibia, which is which bone? Can someone tell me which part of the bone your tibia is?
Your shin.
Yes, your shin. So your tibia, I like to think of it kind of as a T, with the femur on top, and the tibia is like kind of like the main bone, while the fibula is kind of like hanging out on the side. Now with the foot, we have tarsals just like we have carpals in our wrist. So the tarsals, this is a fun mnemonic I looked up. It's tall camels never consume cubes. I have no idea who came up with that or what was going through their mind, but it kind of helped me. So that is in reference to your talus, your calcaneus, your navicular, your cuneiforms. There's a medial and lateral cuneiforms, and then a cuboid. One of these is also called your heel bone. Do y'all know which one that is?
Calcaneus.
Yes, your calcaneus is your heel bone. That one's a good reference point to remember the different tarsals in your bone and your foot. So just remember calcaneus is going to be your heel bone. And then there's also metatarsal. So those are going to be like your toe bones. All right. So it's time to quiz y'all. I'm offering an extra point for someone who comes in first, and then half a point for the person who comes in second. Third place, you just get bragging rights that you're on the podium. So let me pull that up for y'all. I will advise y'all that I would go for accuracy over speed. So let me pull it up. I also had to I bought premium Kahoot. Oh my goodness, don't look at that. I had to buy premium Kahoot just for y'all to join.
Woohoo!
Yes. All right, let's see. We pull it up. And then as I'm doing this, I'm also gonna leave the sign-in sheet in the group chat. So while we wait for everyone to join the Kahoot, I'm just gonna leave it here for y'all to fill out when you can. All right, let's see. All right, I'm getting a game pin. All right. All right, can y'all see that? Awesome. And do y'all want the lobby music and everything? I can turn it off.
I can't see the rest of the numbers.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
I'm screaming. I put a name in, and then it auto-corrected as Mighty Possum.
I'm not gonna question it.
I put Pimp Daddy, and it wouldn't let me put Pimp Daddy, so I guess it has Mighty Possum now.
Oh my goodness. All right. Anyone else need to join still? Are we good? All right. I'm gonna start it. Here we go. Let's see if y'all are paying attention to me rambling. Well, All right. So like I said, you have to think about the spine as kind of like a meal time clock. So starting at the head, we're going to have the cervical. And then at the start of the day, we're going to have breakfast at 7 a.m. The lumbar is going to be at the bottom. So lumbar, I'd like to think of lumber like wood. Wood is really strong. So that's going to be at the bottom towards your spine. And if we think about our food clock going down the spine, breakfast is at the beginning, lunch is in the middle, dinner is at the bottom. So you're going to have dinner at 5 p.m. So there are actually 5 lumbar vertebrae, just for those people who chose 12, just in case you get mixed up next time. All right. Oh, look at that. That's like a 3-way tie right there. All right. Super simple, guys. Is that everyone? Yes, there we go. 2006, I got one of y'all. I put that just for y'all. Let's see. Ah. All right, let's keep going. I told y'all, accuracy over speed. Perfect. Yes. So just remember, the easiest way to remember this is just flexion. I like to think of a bicep curl. Like I think everyone thinks of a bicep curl when it comes to flexion. So think about the joint angle right here. What is it doing as you're bringing your arm up for that bicep curl? It's going to be decreasing the joint angle, while extension is going to be increasing the joint angle. So if you think about a bicep curl coming in, it's getting smaller. And when you have it all the way out, that's going to be a 180 degrees right there. So that's going to be increasing the joint angle for extension. Just to remember the differences for those two. Wow, look at that. Someone's got to come for Matt. Katie, what is that face you're making? Oh, I got y'all good. I got y'all good on this one. Okay, so tarsals are going to be your feet. So that's going to be like your calcaneus, your navicular, all that. I'm getting y'all with these. I told y'all. So just remember the way I like to think about it. Carpals, like little Lego hands. C. So I like to remember that your carpals are with your wrist because your wrist can make that C shape. Tarsals, toes. Yeah. So these, I put the carpal bones up on top. So I got y'all right there. Ah, look at that. All right. Here we go. Let's see. I hope my method worked for y'all. Look at that. That was pretty good. I'm not going to complain. All right. So, like I said, I like to think of the captain is associated with the middle finger. So right there, you can see that, right? That's the middle finger. That would make it the capitate. The hamate is going to be the biggest looking one. So I think of like a big honey ham you would see it at Thanksgiving, like one of those massive hams. It's going to be that one on the far right with your ring finger and pinky finger right there. Good work, guys. I'm glad that worked for you. Dang. 5 correct answers in a row. Let's break the streak. I feel like I'm stressing y'all out.
You're making me sweat.
I really gave
I
thought when
live
I was
under
making
stress.
it.
Yep, I'm nervous too.
Look at that. Amazing. Yeah, so pretty simple. Think of Luna, the moon. It kind of it's very small, but you can see it's just like a tiny little curve. For y'all that are really into moon phases, it'd be like a waxing crescent or a waning crescent right there. The little curve right there. So yeah, pretty good. I'm proud of y'all. Good work. Dang, the streak is still going. Perfect. So proud of y'all. Yeah, abdominal vertebrae is not a thing. Our spine is not near our abdomen. It's on the posterior side where our abdomen's on the anterior side. So good work. I'm glad y'all got that. Nice. I am appalled. All right, so when you push the gas pedal, that's actually going to be plantar flexion. So like I mentioned earlier, plantar, I think of plants and you step on plants. So picture your foot stepping on some plants. That's going to be your toes hitting the ground. So pushing downwards. Dorsiflexion is coming up. I know it's a little confusing because personally, when I see dorsiflexion, I think, oh, D, down. But dorsiflexion is actually coming off. So flexion, if you think about that angle joint right by your ankle, you're going to be decreasing that angle joint. So flexion coming up right there. All right, last question. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can knock someone off the podium. Oh, just kidding. We have 2 more questions. Wow, I thought I was going to get y'all with that. Good work. Yeah, so adduction is going towards, think about adding. That's like bringing everything in. Abduction is going away. Perfect. Another cool way to remember abduction is if you look at the B and D in abduction, it's kind of like pushing against each other. So going out, going away. Nice. Alexis, I believe in you. Get 3rd place. A little feedback. Awesome. I thought it'd be fun to go with the little fun little answers there. All right, let's look at the podium. Congrats, Katie. You looked a little stressed doing this. Nice. Congratulations. So proud of y'all. Mighty Possum, is that Julie?
That's me.
All right. And then K-Mass is
That's me.
Karina. Is it Karina?
Huh? No,
Hold
it's
on.
me. My name's Caitlin.
Caitlin. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let me just write y'all down real quick. Caitlin, yeah. Awesome. I'm so proud of y'all. Okay. So, all right. So let me just make sure everyone signed in. Did everyone sign in and get the Google form and everything? Okay, awesome. So I know this one was really short. I kind of just wanted to have a short little quick workshop just to show y'all kind of how I'm going to format it. I'm going to look at the responses just to see if y'all would prefer keeping it on Zoom or we could do some in-person ones. But I also just wanted to let y'all get to know me a little more. I'm pretty relaxed, pretty chill, pretty easy to talk to. I'm going to try to make these as not awkward as possible. But thank you for coming out. The signing form, I can resend a link for that. There you go. But yeah, I just wanted to get to know y'all, let y'all get to know me. I'm gonna try to make this super beneficial for you. Kind of incorporate some physical therapy stuff as well as some anatomy stuff as we're going through the year. Look forward. Next workshop I'm going to hold is actually going to be covering all the different physical therapy schools in Texas. So look forward to that. I know this was really short. I didn't want to take too much of your time, but this is just a nice introduction, a way to get some extra points, a way to get started on your points for the semester. So thank you so much for coming out. Y'all are free to go. Just make sure you sign in and everything. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Hey, sorry, I actually didn't see it in the chat. Is it in the group chat?
The sign in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me send it. I'll put it. Yeah, I put it in the chat of the Zoom.
Oh, that's why I didn't see it. I don't think I'm in that chat.
Oh, okay. Are you on your phone by chance?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I'll just I'll mark you for here, but if you can find it, like, did you not find it at all by chance?
You sent out the invite like in one of the regular chats?
Yeah, so I sent it in the Zoom chat. I can send it again just so it's at the very. Oh, hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
There you
part
go.
of it.
Do you see it now?
Let me see. I'm on the. You just put it into both chats or one?
I put it for everyone. Are you in the group me by chance?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm only in like the announcement one and then like the 2022 to 2023 chat.
Okay. Yeah, I can direct message you the sign in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and if you could also send me the link to join the Zoom chat too.
Yeah, of course. I got you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
I'll see you right now.
You what?
I'll see you right now. Hurry up. Get ready. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. And
Later,
then, Michelle,
guys.
yes, I'm going to be posting this on the PT Society's website, just for reference. Okay. Awesome.